back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So I've been meaning to discuss this for a little bit. My recent video that I just recorded, I talked about the 19% uncommitted in Minnesota. But the one that I really wanted to talk about was Michigan. So Michigan is a very purple state. Minnesota is a very blue state. But Michigan, the past couple election cycles, very, very purple, a combination of red and blue. So if you look at the map, in 2020, Michigan voted blue, but in 2016, it voted red. Ever since the census came out and they reapportioned House districts, Michigan actually lost a vote, so they were at 16, but in these next couple elections are going to be at 15, just because they have 2 senators and 13 House districts. So, again, 16 votes in 2016 and also 16 votes in 2020. But if we look at the margins of 2016 and 2020, Trump won 2,279,000 and Hillary won 2,268,000, which is an 11,000 vote, roughly, margin of victory. So 11,000 votes, very, very narrow, especially when you're having close to 4.5 million votes cast. And that's a very tight election. If you look at the Democratic primary in Michigan, very split in 2016. Bernie ended up winning it, but it was basically tied half and half, more or less, 49.6 to 48.2. Very, very narrow, but the vote ended up going to Donald Trump in 2016. And in 2020, the election was won by Biden in the state by about 150,000, which, that's obviously way more than 11,000. So the Democratic Party loses by 11,000 in 2016, and comparatively to 2020, you win by roughly 150,000. That's obviously way more. However, if you have 100,000 voters in your base tell you that they are voting uncommitted because they disagree with your policies, that's a very interesting area of concern, because again, 2016 voted red, 2020 voted blue. So if you win by 150,000 and you've basically pissed off 100,000 members of your political base, that's going to be a little bit more complicated to win that election when 100,000 votes are telling you, we really don't like your policy. We're still part of the base because we're not going to vote for the other side, but 100,000 of us are saying we're going to vote uncommitted because we disagree with policy. Ultimately carrying Michigan by 2.78, far closer than expected, but way more than Trump's margin of victory in 2016. So I think what Biden needs to do is care about this issue. I don't think he is, because I don't think he's particularly concerned with what his base has to say, because I think he's trying to appeal more to moderate voters than to his left flank. So if 100,000 voters on your left flank are in not truly revolt, but in basically saying we don't agree with your policy at all, that's cause for concern, especially since the last time Democrats didn't listen to Michigan was when they lost Michigan and ultimately the White House. So Democrats are, I think in public, they've been very this doesn't mean anything, but in private, they're probably very concerned about this, because Michigan is a very, very purple state, and a state you need to win if you want the White House. So I think in public, I don't think the Democratic Party is concerned, but in private, they're probably a little concerned, because they know the last time that they lost Michigan, they lost the White House. So we'll see what happens in the future. We'll see if this affects the general election at all. But if 100,000 members of your political base is telling you we don't agree with you, I think you should probably take it seriously. So, just my 2 cents on the issue. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will see you all in the next video. Deuces.